Okay, welcome to step one. I'm now going to take you into Google Earth and show you how to create your shots. I'm going to be doing this for illustrative purposes, and obviously the regulations in your own country need to be adhered to. So let's jump in and let's look at the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is get a copy of Google Earth, and luckily Google Earth Pro is now for free. So you have the world's best software available at your fingertips for free. When you open Google Earth, you will look on the left, you have the sidebar. You can use search to bring you to your location. Underneath that you have the My Places section. This is where you're going to be setting up all your missions. And underneath that, layers. Now in your layers, the only two layers that are really necessary are 3D buildings and terrain. The rest are all optional. Now when you look at places, you're going to be adding stuff, folders. So every now and then it's a good idea to go to My Places, save it into either Dropbox or Google Drive, and then you've always got it backed up. Alright, let me show you how to navigate and use Google Earth. On your top here you have two navigations. The first is your camera. So if you push up, your camera will look up, down, and left or right. The next is the movement of your camera. So if you push on that, you'll move forward, backwards, left or right, and then beneath that is the option to zoom. So you can zoom in and zoom out. Now if you left click with your mouse and drag your mouse around, you can also move. You can use your arrow keys on your keyboard to move forward, back, left, or right. An easy way to move your camera is to hold the control key and then left click and move your mouse down or up or left or right, and that will basically drag your camera around. Then if you hold down the shift key, and let's just say we want to move around the Eiffel Tower, we click on the Eiffel Tower and then we drag the mouse and we can move around. You'll see there's a little circle on the Eiffel Tower now, and that also allows us to get our camera into position. And this is a beautiful way to help you visualize what's a really, really good shot. So you can use this to, frame your shots and figure out where you would like to start from. Just something to bear in mind, when you zoom outwards using your mouse scroll wheel or the zoom key, Google Earth really causes you to jump in altitude very quickly. And Litchi is governed by the DJI firmware, which means you can only go 500 meters above ground level. So just remember that you could easily be more than 500 meters above ground level if, for example, you had to try and use this. So Google Earth is very, very powerful, but it's also sensitive, and just make very careful movements and be aware of space. Another thing you need to be aware of is if you go down, you can enter into street level view. So just make sure you don't zoom too far down, because when you enter into street level view, you then need to click exit. In this case we're in ground level view, and I'm just going to use the scroll wheel to come back out. Okay, let's create our first mission. So what we're going to do on My Places is we're going to right click, add folder, and we'll give it a name. Okay, we've got a folder called Bridge Lecture, and that means any points that we add will fall under this folder. Now the first thing you have to do is you have to create the position where you're going to be taking off, and this is to calculate the reference altitude. So let's just say, for example, we're going to be taking off in front of the Eiffel Tower. So I'm going to look down and get into position. Okay, so bring to the center of the screen the area where you think you'll be taking off. Press on this plus little yellow button here called Add Place Mark, and let's just call this Takeoff. Then hit OK, and you'll see Takeoff has been added to Bridge Lecture. Now you need to get to the first position for waypoint 1, and you can frame it however you want. Okay, let's just say that this is an awesome angle to begin with. We're looking down, we can see the bottom of the Eiffel Tower, the river, etc. Let's call this 1. Okay, now we need to move the camera into the next position. Alright, so what I've done is I've used the shift key to look around a little bit. Now I can see down the river. I still have the Eiffel Tower. It's beautifully composed using the rule of thirds, and I'm happy, so I'm going to press 2. And then we're going to create a third and final waypoint, because I'm going to be demonstrating curves. Okay, and that's where I want to finish the mission, so we'll just call that 3. Okay, excellent. So we got 3 points, and just something that you need to be aware of. Firstly, when you move between these points, you can just double click on them and it'll take you between them. And the way the Google camera moves around in Google Earth is it tends to bounce between points, and that's not going to happen to your drone. In reality, your drone will not be performing arcs, your drone will be going in straight lines. So just be aware of that. Like here you can see it bouncing. It's going in a little arc, climbing up in altitude, and then coming back down again. So the movements that you see in Google Earth are not necessarily how they're going to be in reality. It'll be fairly close. The main thing is the framing of the shots. So here we start off in position 1, we're going to be going to position 2, and then from 2 to 3 we're climbing up, looking down and getting the top of the Eiffel Tower in view. Beautiful finishing shot. Okay, great. Now that we've created this in Google Earth, we need to be able to save this. So let me show you what you do. You go to the folder, you right click, and you say save place as. Okay, so I'm going to save it into a subfolder inside Dropbox, calling it Eiffel Tower, and very importantly choose KML and save. You are now finished with the Google part, and let's go into the second lecture where I'll be discussing the Bridge software and then how to bring it into Litchi. Thank you.